In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 areas of focus that you can put your attention on during this new moon in Aquarius to bring more peace, love, harmony into your life as you reinvent the new you. Let's go! Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Harmony. I'm a twin flame ascension expert, helping twin flames, starseeds, and light workers around the globe to unlock their hidden power, align with their highest and greatest truth, so that they can connect to their highest divinity and destiny in life, love, and livelihood. I'm going to share with you today 4 things that you can use this new moon in Aquarius on January 24th, 2020 to your advantage, and take advantage of this opportunity of not just the first new moon of the year in a new year and new decade, but also the Chinese zodiac new year, as well as becoming the whole theme and the goal of this new vision here is about you aligning with the new you, reinventing that new you from a place of fresh start, new beginning, out with the old, in with the new. And in doing that, when we have this rich Aquarian energy being perfectly aligned with everything else being we're in the age of Aquarius. And if you've heard me talk or read my book, Twin Flame Codebreaker, I've talked about how, the whole mission of the twin flames is in alignment with the age of Aquarius that began back in December 21st of 2012 when we entered the age of Aquarius. And we've been in this 7-year cycle now to basically be putting to rest the old self, the old patterns, the old ways, the old conditions, and all of our generational bloodline curses, and we're retemplating those things. Now it's really coming down to us. And it's like taking a look in the mirror and saying, who is this now? I went through this death and rebirth repeated times over and over and over and over again. So what am I left with? Who is this person? So in this new moon and in this new energy, as we come into this alignment of the first new moon being Aquarius, it's making people really connect to the sense of their emotions from a state of wanting freedom, peace, love, happiness. And the Aquarian energy is all about the connection of oneness, the connection of oneness in all that is from a standpoint of heart-centered connection. That's where, the Aquarian energy is so deeply emotionally connected to them, like themselves. So therefore, in this timeline, it's helping us connect with ourselves. And so the 4 things I want to talk to you about, like working on in this energy, the first one is to rethink. When it comes to rethinking, it's taking a look about rethinking everything that you've just been through. Starting point would be a good place to start, looking at what just happened. I can't tell you how many people have the feeling I've been on Mars for the last few years, and now I'm reintegrating back into life, and I don't even know how. And then I'm going through this sense of feeling, like I've even said in past videos, of being, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and like I've been to war and coming back and being able to integrating into the 3D again, basically. So as we integrate into the 3D with this Aquarian airy energy, and also like in the Capricorn energy here that we are, it's about bringing heaven and earth together. as we move through this year, this Aquarian energy is going to kind of be going forward, but we're going to shift into more of the fire energy towards the end of the year, which is going to expand all of this. And just as I say that, it makes me think of like what we've been doing. We've been doing this activation. Let me start over. We've been doing an elimination, an activation, an upgrade, and an expanded version of ourselves over the last few years. And then repeat, rinse and repeat, right? And so we're getting into this. We've done the elimination, we've done the activation, we've been working on the upgrade. Now we're really expanding these things. So in the expansion of that, it's taking a look about the things you've thought of all along and coming down to reclarifying your truth of who you are from a sense of who, not just who you are yesterday or in the past of this and who you are today, but who you're becoming. And then in that, so what you're looking at in this rethinking process of what's working and what's not working. Where am I speaking my truth and what's not being spoken yet? Am I communicating my desires? How am I showing up? So we're sort of like in this rethinking process. We're moving, we went from the head to the heart, and now we're going back a little bit to the head. We're shifting upward from that space to kind of like balance now. So we always go from one spectrum to the other, from going from, like say a very logical standpoint to very no logic and being very gullible, right? That's opposite ends of the spectrum. So we're finding the harmony between our heart and our head in doing this so that we can revisit some of the things and potentially now reintegrate or collect certain fragments that we've lost along this way, that we can, from a process of, I don't really want to say logic, but from a thought process, the thoughts become things, and it becomes, where is your focus and what are you putting your attention and your focus on as you bring these thoughts into place. And so in the past, these, when it comes to things, you need to watch where these thoughts are going, because the thoughts are going to create the focus of your attention and will become, as they always are, what it is you attract to you. So you're implementing your new way, your new thoughts in this, your new way to think from a place of doing this in balance and harmony and peace, that's going to bring, harmony to your thoughts, so to speak, as you become more balanced in your actions going forward. The second thing we're doing is we're reimagining. We're reimagining the things of what do we desire? What have we accomplished? What is unaccomplished? I would invite you to do two parts to this, is to take a look back over the last 7 years and look at how much you really accomplished, right? And look at also then some of the dreams or the imagination that you had of desires and things that you wanted to implement, and have they come to fruition, or do they still match who you are, or do you need to do an upgrade of your imagination, of your dream and your desires to match who your new self is at your newest, highest version and vibration of you. I was doing some recordings for my Reinvent, the New You online course that I'll put a link below for you to look at. And in that, I was talking about strengths and weaknesses, and how our greatest strengths can be our greatest weaknesses, and that how basically that in that exercise, I'll just share with you what it was. It's about listing out all of the strengths, and then on the flip side of that, how are they your weaknesses, and how can you bring balance to the strength and weaknesses? Meaning you want to be able to cultivate strengths in order to use them from a standpoint of you call on them, but you want to and need to also be able to call out your weaknesses and basically facing those fears so that you're not blocking yourself from going forward anymore. And to basically face that fear or to call on that is how can you implement new skills, techniques, and tools and habits within your life that face these weaknesses in a sense that you no longer run from them anymore, but you can turn them in. The minute you face it, you turn it into a strength, so to speak. And to give you an example of mine, I'd listed out, I'd done this many years ago, and so I actually pulled this out for that assignment, and I was blown away at my strengths and weaknesses and how they came into balance from a standpoint of being super focused, but yet that would cause tunnel vision for me. Or like I was the imaginator, the dreamer, and dreamed so big that I had the dream, and I could dream, that wasn't a problem, but I was so far ahead of the dream that it made it so hard to take the actions or to do it slow enough to implement the actions to follow through that dream. And I would be moving through it faster than I could be able to bring it into form, and I'd be on to the next thing. I still basically do this. But what I really thought of as I was saying that in that recording was that I realized I'm living the dream, that this is my dream. Like what I'm doing here and all of these things was 20 years ago, things that I was imagining and dreaming about, but how this becomes this ever unfolding process. But along the way, because it is unfolding and we're becoming a new person constantly in this evolution, and it's not about who we were or who we are, but who we're becoming, then we need to give the space and the flow of that to allow and create space for these new things to come in and integrate with us so that we can reimagine the possibilities that maybe we in this journey gave up, and we need to reimagine both what we desire and from a place of what did we either accomplish that we didn't realize we accomplished, or what have we yet to accomplish that we can put our attention on in a new way and use our strengths in that now, in a sense that maybe our strength now came full circle from the weakness, and then we brought ourselves into a more balanced person, and we're seeing more of our good side and more of our gifts than sabotaging ourselves. The third thing is to reinvent the new you. That is basically making sure to bring balance to yourself. Being able to, as I mentioned, the strengths and weaknesses, bringing yourself full circle, full cycle. We've put an end to some things. We've went through the seasons of self and the cycles of self, and those seasons being the death in the winter, the spring is coming in through the rebirth, and the summer of the growth and expansion of that, and then coming into more of like a fall type setting of being this reflection and reflecting back on what it is we've created or not created, or who we are or who we've become. So the thing is, if you're reinventing yourself, the key in that would be is, who are you? Well, I invite you to make a list, and I think I did this in a video or two ago, where you write down all the things you want to be, do, and have, and then all those things. I am peace. I am love. There's so much power in the power statement of that, and then adding the I am presence to it says it exists versus waiting for it to come. So when you look at what you want to become and maybe make a list of those things, write down I am what it is you want to become, so that you can then, in that power statement, it becomes present and you're not postponing or prolonging who it is you're becoming. And it's bringing yourself full circle and full cycle, in a sense that you're collecting all your fragments and collecting all of who you are, and coming into a place of honoring and accepting who that is. Another part of this reinvention of the new you is that you're a vibration, and in the vibration of your frequency is to attach and tune with the highest version of you and your soul's destiny that needs to get in alignment with what it is it came here to be, do, and have. And if you constrict that truth, then you're pulling yourself out of alignment with the truth, which is going to pull you out of alignment with you. And then you're not going to be in peace, love, and harmony. And it's going to pull you further away from all of these things. So allow yourself to expand in this version of yourself. Give yourself permission to expand. Say yes to this journey. Connect to your mind, your heart, your body, and your soul, and integrate all of you. This is also in this timeline, because of this emotional status of this energy, it's helping us uncover buried truths. So these buried truths are, not only are we looking at what's not been working and implementing new ways to handle and do these new versions of programs that we're implementing that were just being put to the test to re-implement these things of the new way, but we're also in that the parts of us that didn't awaken, the deepest emotional components, is what I'm seeing with myself and others. These emotional truths are coming up to connect to and to integrate with, so that we can embody all of ourselves. And then again, I mentioned this, but we're in this reinvention, we're implementing lots of new skills and habits and the way we handle things, so that we're doing that going forward. The fourth thing is rearranging your life. I'm always talking about everything's harmony from the inside out. In your frequency and your vibration attunes with the highest version of you, things around you will then either fall away or attract you based on that vibration. So in this timeline, we have this sense of this energy with the inner peace and happiness and harmony and all these things we're working on within us, and wanting this sense of emotional freedom, and just freedom, period. Freedom of the mind, body, heart, soul, people, space. It's giving us a sense of freeing up our space around us, freeing up possessions, freeing up people, freeing up partners, freeing up, like, making changes in the home life, making changes in your daily activities and your daily routines, being able to relate to others' experiences in the new ways. And I mentioned this in the last video, but if you did not watch my last video, I'm going to put a link to it here below in a card, of will I reunite with my twin flame, and coming into a place of this radical acceptance and taking ownership and accountability and responsibility for your vibration, which takes that to come into alignment with this truth, to reinvent the new you, to arrange your life around you to match down to who is your partner, that is to be your highest soul partner and the equivalent to you, that equals and matches you in such a way that you are not lacking anything, that they become an equal part to you, not something that's separate from you. I want you to go back and watch that if you didn't watch it. And if you have watched it, maybe you want to watch it again. And also I want to thank you for all the feedback I got in that video. So much feedback of how I've got so many emails that just, and messages, just like how good that video was. And I'm doing that Twin Flame Ascension and Redefining the Twin Flame Journey series. So make sure to also check that out. And that is also going to become a part of that. And I will continue that series for you. But during this energy, I cannot stress enough the importance of, just using this new vibration, this new energy to connect to all of you and clearing all of your debris, correcting anything that's imbalanced, and collecting all of your fragments as you go into the new you going forward, and this foundation of this new moon going forward for the next, not just months, but years to come. This work will piggyback and catapult you light years ahead. All right, so make sure you check out my resources below of how you can release your past, raise your vibration, reinvent yourself, all those things. Check those out, and may you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.